Okay, this is a really quick one. I was just talking to my basically best, one of the most awesome people I know, and he gave me this mint. And look at that, how beautiful that is. Oh my God. And it's not like he gave me a sprig, okay? He gave me all of this mint. And look at how many different varieties there are here. Look at that. That is a different mint than this mint. I mean, sometimes they may even come from the same plant, but the taste is so much different. It's just so much different. Each one. And some are just more bitter, some are sweeter, some have a little more pungent, some are less. It's just incredible. I mean, look at that. Oh my God. If it was me and I'm like, if somebody is like, oh yeah, oh, give us some mint. I mean, I just gave him back just a small token of my appreciation for giving me all this mint. And I was like, oh, I don't want to give him too much, man. It's like, that's the difference. Some people are just so generous, they give you this much mint. So, all right. Wow, there's probably some farmers out there that are like, oh, that's nothing. I'm usually have a whole bale of mint and I feed it to my cows to make them healthy again. You know, they probably go through a lot more mint than this. But even then, it's still, you know, the goats get into your mint and then it's all gone. You know, you're left with just a few little bits. So anyway, all right. So this is just a quick instructional for that drink because I was talking to my buddy about it and talking to him about it. And I wanted to tell him about the summer version of it. I was talking about the winter version of it where you use clamato, but without the clam juice in it. So apparently he says, my friend says, oh, that's just called tomato juice. So, okay, so tomato juice. I guess that makes sense, but for some reason I always thought they were different. Anyway, so tomato juice, and you know, if you make the non-alcoholic version is probably more delicious, but if you want the alcoholic version, you put in a shot of, don't use vodka. A shot of gin is the best if you can do it. Not even a shot, like a half a shot of gin. You don't need much. Like a half a shot of gin. You know, you just want the botanicals in there, right? And then you put in like maybe, like 20 maybe of these. So this is the store brand. This is not what you're supposed to use, obviously. It won't work if you use these. But these aren't for the drink. These are just to snack on. Okay, for the drink, you need the really, and unfortunately I don't have any right here because I had two of them that weren't cause the ones that were damaged by the freeze have a little white crack across them. I don't have one here to show. And they taste just as good, but you're probably not going to see them in the markets because people don't like to sell vegetables with cracks on them. So anyway, but you put about 16 of these guys, okay, in there with approximately this much mint, about that much, a sprig. A sprig is not this much. A sprig is like just like that much, okay? So a sprig, because good mint is just so hard to come by. You know, it's just like the kind of mint he grows, where he doesn't use like, crazy growth things that you kind of need to have in industry, or they'll find an organic growth accelerator of some kind. He's just good care, just watering. And I mean, I think people use fertilizers. I've put fertilizer in my ground, but I'm all right with putting goat's poop in there. You don't get the outcome, but when you spend your time, you know how to grow plants. You don't need that stuff. You can grow this kind of stuff, with this incredible flavor, man. It's so nice. But you can't get that with chemicals. You gotta get this just all just organic. Without organic toxins in there either. Just like fertilizer, sheep's poop or cow poop, whatever kind of poop you can get that's already been kind of processed from a cow that's mostly been fed grain. I mean, I know they finish them at the end on high protein and stuff. In my opinion, I can't see. It's just the reality of the industry. I get it. I don't think that's going to necessarily contaminate the meat. If you're eating another animal, it's already pretty contaminated, and you're doing it because it's delicious. All right, anyway, we're not getting into that. All right, so we have this mint, and Mineragua, this was voted the #1 most delicious mineral water in the world. And why? Because it's delicious. I'm not going to say why. You don't need to know why. You just buy Mineragua. Okay, any kind of coconut water you can get that's not, it has to be the Mexican style, Puerto Rican style, Caribbean style coconut water. Okay, so this you'll see, it's not going to be real Caribbean coconut water because it has to be canned, but you can see they add sugar to it. That's kind of important. Okay, because when you make this drink is essentially a Caribbean drink. Okay, so the quality of the coconut water, I'm not saying the quality as far as, I mean, this, I don't know if that's organic or not. I have no idea. I get it because it perfectly fits what you need for this drink, which is basically coco frio, right? Coco frio in Puerto Rico and Martinique and any place that's in the Caribbean, or at least many of the places, probably not every place. There's young coconuts that are harvestable and sellable, and somebody can put it nice and poke a hole and put a straw in there, and you have something which this tries to copy and does a really good job of copying. And again, it doesn't have to be 7-Eleven. There's like 1 or 2 other brands. I might even have one here. Oh, I do. Here's another one. Just as good. Coco King. That one's also really good. Okay, and again, the difference is when you taste it, you taste the sugar in it. So these are hard to find at any of the natural health food type stores because it has sugar in it. And health food stores like Whole Foods and I don't know if Trader Joe's is whatever. Trader Joe's I think is not. No, Trader Joe's definitely has sugar, but Natural Grocers is an excellent grocery if you want to kind of avoid sugar. But if you want something that has sugar in it, like a coco frio, actually here's a picture of a coco frio. Not quite. We're close. That's pretty close. So when the coconut is young, there's still a lot of sugar in it naturally. And when you drink the water there, it's not the very bland water of an adult coconut. It's has just the perfect amount of sweetness. When you drink the water out of a young coconut, you're like, you're taking this baby coconut, and before it has a chance to mature, you're just sucking its brains out, basically, which is this horrible thing. And the coconut nation will never forgive us humans for what they've done to their young. However, look, we have an ethical obligation to stop eating so many young coconuts and start eating only baby pandas. Okay, all right, so you have the shaker here. All right, so you take your shaker, a little martini shaker here. There we go. Okay, so pour the ice. This is a cup of crushed ice, but you could use cubed. All right, so pour the ice in there. Yep. All right, so we have the ice inside the martini shaker. Okay, take 1 whole can of this stuff, whichever. They're both delicious. Actually, I gotta say, I think 7-Eleven, I wonder if it's the same distribution company. They're both distributed by 7-Eleven. So this is a product of Thailand, and this is a product of Thailand. So it might just be a packaging thing. It might come from the same company. But anyway, this stuff has sugar in it, so it approximates the flavor of a coco frio, of a real coco frio. It's not as good as a real coco frio, because a real coco frio doesn't have refined sugar added to adult coconut water. But the reality of this industry is I think Americans are now generally willing to pay $7 or $8 per coco frio to be shipped over on ice the same way that we ship over sushi, because if they did, then United States of Americans would be, in a sense, helping to correct for the massive and overwhelming commercial damage that we've done to countries like Haiti, to countries like Dominican Republic, even to Puerto Rico, who's supposedly one of our own, although we probably damage her a little less than places like Dominican Republic, and we damage Dominican Republic a little less than Haiti. Okay, but also the ones that are aligned with France, it doesn't mean we need to screw them. Okay, they're still good people. They're fine. Martinique and Saint Martin, I mean, Jamaica, there's no justification for the poverty down there except that we screw them. So when they come up with a product that's awesome, we enslave them, which is like what happened in Haiti and then in all the other islands. Although Haiti had a slave rebellion and they succeeded, and that's always a great success story. And you know what? Haiti's fixing it, and Haiti's getting Haiti's economy is showing that even if you're excluded from the client state economy, you can still prosper. And it's happening more and more with places that are excluded from this franchise global economy. Okay, so you take this stuff, which is probably part of our franchise global economy, but it's so delicious, and you pour it into the martini shaker. It has those chunks, yeah. You don't need the whole can, about that much. So like maybe about a third of the can, or maybe half the can. All right, let me get my glass ready. Okay, so you take one tumbler like this. Oh, hey, wait, whoa, I forgot to add an important part. If you want to add tequila, if you want to add a tequila I'm not going to show it on camera. If you want to add an alcohol to this, like a shot, I mean, they're all good brands. I'm not going to start promoting alcohol. They're all good brands. Everybody has their favorites, and I'm quite sure that your favorite is your favorite for a reason, because it's probably delicious. So I like gin in this. Just store gin. I mean, I don't have expensive tastes. You know, just a gin, and about a half a shot. Not even a half a shot. No, about a half a shot. All right. So you put that in there, right? And and we have the half a can of coconut water and the ice. Wait, we forgot the important part. You have to put in about a sprig. Actually, I'm not going to go to about that much. Okay. Do not just drop it in. Don't just drop it in. You got to take it and you got to smush up the leaves, because you got to release all those phenols. Okay. You got to smush up as much as you can, like you got to make like a fingertip food processor. And then dump it in there. Right? That's how it releases all those awesome flavors. All right, then you shake it up. Okay, shake that up. Here's your Collins glass. Okay. Oh, let me get my Mineragua ready. Okay, Mineragua. So my Mineragua is ready. Okay. So everything's ready to go, and you're about to make the drink. Here it goes. I'm not going to use the spout. I just pour it over the top because I don't mind if a little tiny bit of ice gets in the cup. No, that's too much ice. Okay. Okay, so you put in about that much, and then you fill it about 3/4 of the rest of the way with any good seltzer water. It doesn't have to be Mineragua. This is the one I happen to have around. Okay, Mineragua is delicious. I'm not going to take anything away from them, though. Man, let me tell you, Mineragua is why some people are able to remain sober, because if you happen to have loved tequila, as some of us have loved tequila, and there's a July 18th afternoon where you're baking in the high desert sun, and you know you need a beer, and you know if you have one beer, then you're probably going to go to like 10 or 12, and you had one of these, and that saved you, man. So I'm never going to take anything away from Mineragua, man. That's been like, that's the only thing with enough salt in it that tastes like a beer. That's just all I got. I mean, it doesn't taste as good as beer. Well, you know what? Screw it. It does. It tastes as good as beer. It does. It tastes as good as beer. Okay, so there we go. So the drink's done. Here we go. I'm going to... Oh, sweet mother. Holy crap. Oh, man. This is like... Oh... Dear sweet smoking Mary. Oh. Oh my word. Holy shit. Oh. Why does summer have to leave, man? Why does summer have to go? I just don't feel like it's just not fair. Even with the 6-month summer that we got from the coronavirus, it's still not enough. We still gotta have more summer, man. It's like dying sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks, man. You know, you just all these great things in this world of love. And you know, it's like dying. It's like, fuck that. You know, it's like somebody you care for or leaving the people you care for. It sucks on both ends. But, you know, I just think, look, this book I'm reading, it's like, oh shit. It's a great book. It's Generation of Vipers by Philip Wiley. Man, that book and this drink, damn. You know, see, here's the thing where I differ from Philip Wiley. His book is a remarkably pessimistic book, but it's correct. He is not wrong. He's not wrong in, he's not correct in 100% of the cases. He's not correct probably in 50% of the cases or 40%, but he's correct often enough that when you read his book, you recognize these just fundamental truths of the way we are, just our you know, just like, man, I can't start talking about the book. It's just so good. I should like read. What's that one part where he's like, oh man, I wish I had the book. Where he's like, oh man, where he's like, I have a little piece of, look, check this out. I got a little piece of ginger. I got a little piece of ginger in there. Okay? That is, you got to be really freaking careful of that. Okay? If you're making it for your friends in your house, it doesn't matter. Okay? If you're making this in a bar, that is never, ever allowed. Ever. Okay? Because when somebody looks at that, what are they thinking? That there's a fly in my drink. Okay? So maybe I should have used the little pouring spout. Maybe I should have used the pouring spout. Oh, see, now it's been so long since I've used the pouring spout, I can't even open it. Jeez. All right, you know what? I was kind of lazy today, everybody. I apologize. I should have used the pouring spout on this, but I literally haven't used it in so long. And honestly, I should have probably put a coffee filter or something above a strainer glass, poured it into the glass, and then used that to pour it into their drink. Made it another step process. I know that makes it more expensive for the bar, but unless you're patrons, like if they're your friends in the bar, and they know that if they see a piece of mint in their glass, they're not going to freak out and say, oh, it's a fly, there's a fly in my drink. Send this back, I don't want to see this drink, whatever, right? Okay. If they're cool, then just do it the way I did it, okay? But if you have the kind of people that lose their minds, okay, over a piece of mint in a glass, then you've got to strain it. And the coconut's okay because it sinks. People recognize that as being part of the coconut water. They use the little crushed coconuts. A lot of people actually really like when you get in this drink. Now that's one of the reasons why some people would argue I should make twice as much and just use the whole can. Because the second batch of them, when you use the top half, the second batch has all the little chopped up coconut fragments in it. By the way, this flask here will make about, I don't know, about 4 of these. I think it makes about 4 of them. You usually won't find anybody order these more than 2. Usually it'll be someone who happens to know about the drink, and they'll ask for it by name, which I haven't told you. They'll ask for it by name, and you might sell 2 of them, but it's definitely an unusual drink. Now, you have certain obligations. So mineral agua is allowed because the only extra ingredient in it is salt. As far as I know, these are allowed because they're considered soft drinks. The fresh mint could be an issue. You got to check and see what the rules are in your state. Some places allow organic mint and extra ingredients in there like that, and some people, I imagine, do not, because there's some concerns about what was the. Let me find that here. I had done one of these videos on another drink that I had made about 15 years ago that used natural calm. In most states, you can't put this into drinks because this is a nutritional supplement. Okay, so this drink, as far as I know, could potentially be served in a bar if your state allows you to use organic mint. And again, many of them are not going to allow you to do it. You can get the chemically sprayed mint. I don't know if it tastes different. I've never actually had it. It's probably fine if it has some kind of, not too toxic inorganic pesticide. I know there's some inorganic pesticides that are probably less harmful than some organic pesticides. There's some organic molecules that are like insane. But I'm not much of a chemist, so I'm not even going to comment on that. I'm just like, whatever. All right. So anyway, you should be able to serve this in most bars. You get about 4 of these per. Okay. Just got to be careful. The white stuff doesn't seem to be a problem. People don't seem to freak out when they see white particles of the coconut. And I think personally, it's important to leave those in there and not strain them out. But anything dark like that piece of mint it can't go in there. There's definitely gonna be somebody that freaks out unless you just have some like house. If you have like a house party, you can do it, right? It's just like your friends, your guests. Nobody's gonna care. If it's like, you run a bar where it's like basically just cool people from the neighborhood who don't make a fuss over every little thing, it's gonna be fine, right? But if it's like, somebody who's kind of looking for an argument, then you guys got to make sure it's not in there. And people shouldn't even have to think about it, So anyway, so there you go. This is a... Yeah, this is a very, very good Haitian Sunrise. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, honestly, this is so freaking close to what an actual Haitian Sunrise tastes like that I think if you're willing to put the money together and go take a trip to Haiti and go spend a lot of American dollars down there because the people need your help, all right? They are welcome for your business. They are open for you helping them in all of their business ventures. Haitians are awesome people, okay? If you want to go down there and spend your money, awesome, all right? But if you're kind of broke and you can't afford to go to Haiti, this is really close. This is really right there. This is really right there. Now, how much alcohol did I use? All right, I'm going to be honest. Okay, because this is important. And this is where the bartenders are going to have to, talk to their management, okay? Because this is kind of an issue. Okay. I used approximately So this is just a 1.5 ounce shot, okay? 1.5 ounce shot, and this one was essentially empty, okay? I got a drop or 2 out of it, okay? With this one, I used approximately a 1/16 of an ounce, okay? So I'm gonna say for this entire Haitian Sunrise, I used about a 1/16 of an ounce of gin. Okay, this entire 4 drinks. That means if you cut these into 4s, each person's getting a 32nd of an ounce of alcohol. And at that rate, it is still an alcoholic beverage. However, your management and under state law may not be allowed to sell them a drink that has that little alcohol in it. Okay, So it's obviously no problem making them for your friends. Of course, they have to be responsible with alcohol, even tiny, tiny amounts. They have to be responsible with alcohol. If they're not responsible with alcohol, then even tiny amounts, they gotta think about it. It's not your job to protect themselves; it's their job. But you gotta give them the option. So if they don't even want a 1/16 of an ounce or a 32nd of an ounce in their drink, then you don't need to put it in. All right, just make it without, and obviously you're gonna have something that tastes incredibly close still to that. For all I know, a real Haitian Sunrise doesn't even have any alcohol in it. I mean, honestly, I've never had this particular drink that I showed you just now how to make without alcohol. All of mine have always had alcohol in it, but I would like to try to make one without alcohol someday and see if it has the same flavor as an actual Haitian Sunrise. But again, for those of you who don't have the money to go to Haiti and support their economy, this is an amazingly good replica of an actual Haitian Sunrise. Okay. Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna ask about that. No, I'm gonna show you. I gotta show you guys. I'm gonna show you. All right, this is amazing. You gotta see this. All right, look at this. It's from the Harem Lounge in Denver. It's right over there, like close to Cherry Creek. I met a really nice person that lives over there. Okay, so check it out. I think this is my Aunt Regina's. It's a little souvenir cigarette box. This is right from about 1956, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Raleighs. 8 Raleighs. 903s. So, so, what does a gentleman do with something like this? Does he say, my goodness, I should try one of these 903 Raleighs. I should try one. And then what if they are the most delicious and perfect cigarettes that you've ever had in your life? They change your life to such a degree that you can't ever go back to normal cigarettes again. And then you've spent the rest of your life chasing down Raleigh 903s from crazy cigarette collectors in a boat anchored outside of territorial waters. I don't know. So as far as I know, cigarette collecting is legal. I don't know anything about the things, whatever. But look, this was also with my Aunt Regina's, the Harem Lounge. That was the spot, man. That was the spot. I wish I had my phone. Oh, you are my phone. If my phone wasn't recording this, I could show you on my phone a picture of the Harem Lounge. Oh, man, that was like, if you, like, that, what defined, man, like people did around 1962 to 1966, like those dudes were out of their freaking minds, man. Those dudes were like, oh man, and by dudes I mean women and men, of course. They were just like out of their minds. Oh man, those dudes were insane. Like they had the most incredible music, man, and like their colors were like, it's like it was the most strange period of colors. I mean, look. So this is kind of a standard palette, but around that time they were pulling in like right around here, and then they were like doing these triad mixes with things that aren't even supposed to go together, like that and that. So like, what is it, 50 cyan, 100 yellow? They were mixing with like 50 cyan. Actually, that does go together. I always think it doesn't. That's funny, because I use the harmonizer. I forget that the harmonizer is not the one and only way of defining colors. No, but there's some that just did not go together. Like, all right, they'd use 100% magenta and like Here, they'd use like 100% magenta and like 100 cyan, 75 black. Like that would be what I think most people would look at that and say, oh, that's the color of vomit or something. Like they're going to say something like that. But man, it's like you never saw that. You just saw this incredible art. I just wish I could had something to show you. But all right, look. So that was the Harem Lounge. You can kind of see it in the typography a bit. That's their old phone number. FR796. So what was FR? What was the FR neighborhood in Denver? I only know the ones in New York. It's funny. I don't know the exchanges in the rest of the country. Everybody had them. Like I know New York is like Lenox Hill, LE 526. There's the Butterfield neighborhood. There was, I think there was Penn. Is there Penn? Maybe not. Definitely Butterfield, definitely Lenox, Murray Hill. I think all the official neighborhoods had that little two-letter, like Turtle Bay, Lenox Hill, Murray Hill, Yorktown, Columbus Circle. They all must have had that little thing. But what was Butterfield? Every one of those had that exchange. I'm sure of it. But what was Butterfield? You know, I'm not even sure if they were named after the towns. I think they were named after the, anyway, you know what? I'm getting off. Doesn't matter anymore. Okay, anyway, what if I smoke one of these and it turns out they're the most amazing things ever existed? Like, do you know how miserable the rest of my life would be? All I'd want for the rest of my life is like, more Raleigh 503s, please. So, no. In this life of mine, this short life, I have managed not to sneak these out of my dad's drawer, even though I knew they were there, to not pull one out and replace it with another cigarette, to just respect that my dad was dealing with the exact same trials and tribulations in his life as I was with mine. Because when he received these cigarettes, they were approximately 20 years old, and he knew that old cigarettes tasted completely different from the new ones. And now when I have them, they're 70 years old. And, yep. And, oh, look at that. Enjoy our different atmosphere. Oh, if you guys could have seen it, I just wish I could show you a picture of that. There's got to be some way I can somehow insert this picture into this video. If there was just a way of doing it, I've got to learn how to do that. I know it's possible because I've seen other people do it, but it seems really hard. I've got to try to figure it out. I think you got to use like Studio or something. Oh, man. I don't know. All right, I'll figure out some way of doing it. I'll find the easiest way. However the easiest way is to do it, that's the way I'm going to do it. Okay, so are we done here? Wait, let me have one more sip of this. We're not done here. Okay, bartenders, you've got to talk to your management because a lot of them will not allow drinks with less than an ounce. Okay, because that's what the customer's paying for, and there are certain fair weights and measure laws that are still impacting the bar business because it's a very old, respectable, and honorable business, as is all of hotel and restaurant management. These people work very, very hard for us, and they are bound by some incredibly restrictive rules, which is important to at least continue to have a career in it. It protects them to a degree. So in many cases, they have labor unions, which also protect them and help them. In some cases, they do employee ownership, which is also a wonderful way of managing that industry. And in some cases, they even do a E=C arrangement, which is an employee equity company where every employee in the company receives the exact same salary, and every company is a shareholder in the company. That's called an E=C, employee equity company. And it actually follows the tax legalization, the tax rules of both the ESOP, Employee Stock Ownership Plan, IRS rules, as well as E=C companies follow that set of rules, and they follow the They follow the regular corporate rules. They follow the individual rules, because every employee essentially is bringing some money in from his or her ownership in the company, as well as a salary. So the tax on these kind of companies is very high, but there's a reason the tax on these kind of companies is very high, and that's because many countries, probably almost every country, discourages employee ownership. That's just the long and short of it. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, those rules are important. The E=C rules are far more stringent. So I'm not even going to get into all that right now. But you can't serve this drink if it's less than an ounce in the thing. So this is approximately a 32nd of an ounce of alcohol in that drink, maybe even a 64th. You just don't need it, because if you add more alcohol in that, it just completely destroys the aroma and the causticness, the surface tension, delamination effect from the phenols that are in this mint, and the water that's on your tongue has a rapid change in surface tension when the mint touches it. That's why in some cases, like an enormous one would be like, remember these styptic pencils when you used to cut yourself shaving and you'd touch it and it would stop the bleeding? That had alumina in there. So if you ever accidentally happened to taste it, it made your mouth pucker. Suddenly you're like, that's because there was a rapid change in the surface energy between the layer of this stuff and the water on your tongue. Rapid change. It's essentially a toxic material. You're not really supposed to get it in your mouth. It has almost a sweet-like taste. And you're just talking about a tiny touch of that thing to your tongue, and you feel an immediate effect. So this mint is a much more subdued version of that. But there is a slight interaction with the water on your tongue where it has a rapid change in surface energy, so it dramatically brings unattached molecules past their Kelvin barrier and allows them to aggregate up into and above 150 to 250 nanometers. Okay, so you're talking about a rapid increase of particles. And then at the same time, you're also talking about a rapid decrease of other particles, because in other particles cases, it drops their Kelvin barrier. No, in that case, it would raise their Kelvin barrier even more, to the point where these rather large particles, they're still submicron particles, have a rapid enough change in surface energy that they essentially vaporize rather quickly. So those are volatile organic chemicals and volatile organic compounds that are known. That's one of the reasons why when you smell mint, if you ever go to the Celestial Seasonings Tea Company in Boulder, they have this mint locker there, and they open it up, and the smell of mint is just like you just can't even imagine how insane that smell is. Okay, so that's where we are in this. Good luck on the drink. Remember, it's a Haitian Sunrise. And any attention and care that we can bring to the people of Haiti at this time is really important. We have to remember to protect our brothers and sisters here. We do. It's very important. Everybody, every brother, every sister. We got to protect them because they're our brothers and they're our sisters. Okay, we can't forget there's people who don't have people to protect them like we do here. Okay, there's just so much poverty in certain places that they need people. They need help from the outside, right? And if you go take a vacation down there, and just spend some money in a beautiful place like that, and I'm sure that the people who live there will appreciate you, man. All right. Okay. Thanks very much. Bye now.